Coach Patsos in our studio. Who did you bring with you, Coach?
We brought Ryan the Shark Harkins. We had a long debate about the Westminster Dog Show.
Oh, no.
That
is very popular. Second most popular sporting event in the country.
Well, we're not going to talk about the Jets anymore.
You know what number one is?
Over there, because the guy's a Jets hat on there. What a proud guy. That's tough.
Yeah, it is. And Eric, he's...
My point is, my buddy who runs
stink.
the Ravens has a German Shepherd, and he's into breeding them, and the German Shepherd won.
Nice.
Chucky the Pekingese, Rumor,
yeah.
and the Norwich Terrier. Who did you like, Shark? You like the Pekingese, Chucky, right?
Yeah, I thought Chucky was pretty funny. He wasn't that big.
They had to carry him out.
If you're gonna talk, he was like small. They had to carry him out. You couldn't really see his legs. The hair kind of went all the way to the ground. It was pretty funny looking.
I want Ryan to co-host this show today. I have some business to take care of.
Well, he's a Jets fan, and all kidding aside, he thinks they should move up in the draft.
Yeah?
Yes, he wants a quarterback.
They need a quarterback. The only guy worth taking is Watson, right? I mean, I don't know that. I don't think this is not a top-heavy quarterback draft. At least that's what I'm hearing.
He doesn't like your boy from Penn State at all.
Hackenberg.
Well, give him a chance, man.
I mean,
give him a chance.
Leonard Fournette. That would be nice.
That is a possibility.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'd be okay with that.
You would take that, right? I would take that.
I'd put that together. Yeah? You take that? All right, yeah.
Yeah, Jet fans are cool with that.
Anyways, on we go.
Anyway,
we just wanted to get the Westminster Dog stuff up.
Well, no, I was going to say, do you know what the oldest continually held sporting event is in the United States?
Is that it?
No, that's number 2.
Saratoga, the racetrack.
You're close.
The Derby?
Got it.
Yeah.
Kentucky Derby.
Been there twice.
That's a good trivia question for you, Zachary, when you're out on your trails.
I like that.
The oldest continually held sporting event in the country is the running of the Kentucky Derby. The second is, and then we call it an event or a show, is the Westminster Dog Show.
This is the first year.
That's a bonus question for you to ask. They get something extra if they get that right.
This is the first year that famous guy's voice did not do it. It was the first year he didn't.
Oh, okay.
So he took a year off. He did it for 35 years. It's funny. I got someone tickets. It's funny. John Swafford, the commissioner of the ACC. I got his daughter. I went to her wedding. It's a whole little thing. I got him tickets he couldn't get tickets for the Westminster Dog Show because he's like, from the South, and he's like, nobody knows how. And I'm like, I do. Because my friend owned the restaurant Local and Lugo across the street. Big basketball guy. But he fed all the dogs. The people would come in and be like, I'd like a $50 steak for my dog, and I'll get a salad. It was like that movie Best in Show. Yeah. So I got this guy tickets once for him and his daughter, and he said, how did you do that? And I said, I don't know. It's just what we do. It is a tough ticket. It is an old event. It's a very different thing, the dog show, but it's kind of something different in February to lighten the mood. But the German Shepherd winning, I think, is a good sign.
It is a good sign. I like that. I like the Westminster Dog Show. People are into that. Now, you know what kind of a sports day it is when on Sports Center with Mike and Mike, like they do their little updates.
Sure.
Like the third item is who won the Westminster Dog Show. I mean, when you've got that as your third item on the agenda, okay. This is not like a banner headline.
Because Oklahoma's it's a college basketball game.
And
I watched LeBron play. Why is everybody yelling at LeBron about playing too much, not playing enough? This is all like the guy wants to. Here's the thing. I watched it with Minnesota. I went to recruit last night. Went to a high school game. We're not allowed to say which one.
Well, yeah.
And then we went out.
Local?
I went to a local. There's like 3 or 4 local kids that are very, very talented.
Congrats to Saratoga, by the way.
Did they win?
They beat Shen last night, which means
a big win.
Which means Colony for the first time since Lucius Jordan played back in the early 2000s. They win the regular season Suburban Council for the first time.
That's good.
So that's good for them.
Changing of the guard.
So Ken D'Agostino.
So we went to get something to eat afterwards, and there's the Timberwolves trying to build their franchise, redo it, and everything, playing Cleveland. Well, they want to see LeBron play. They're buying season tickets. They're trying to, because Minnesota's been a mess forever. Abe, our assistant, Abe Oldislasi's from Minnesota. We have a couple kids from Minnesota on the radar, but we signed one. Minneapolis, underrated recruiting state because they only have one Division I program. They're trying to build their franchise. They have to have LeBron play. I mean, in other words, that's not fair to the Timberwolves fans that bought season tickets. What, because they don't want him to play? Is that what's going on, Zach? They think he plays too much?
I mean, that's the conventional thought because they wanted to put him on a restriction, but the fact of the matter is, he's the straw that stirs the drink. If they're trying to win games, which they struggled mightily in the last 30 days, he needs to be out on the floor. It's pretty simple,
Best
right? If you're the coach, you look down your bench. You're going to look at LeBron James and keep him there. If you're down 4, you got to play.
Right. And it's good for the league.
When you lose Kevin Love, I thought when that happened, because he's going to be out for 6 weeks, he had the knee surgery.
Yep.
I thought maybe that would put does that put the full court press for Carmelo on?
I mean, I don't know. He doesn't want to go there, does he?
I guess Carmelo's not going anywhere.
Well, that was one of the 3 teams that he reportedly was interested in, but that was kind of beside the point because Cleveland rebuffed the offer in the last month.
Everybody wants Millsap, but he's not.
Yeah, but now Kevin Love's injured.
Right. Love's injured, but still, I mean, it all comes down to what Carmelo Anthony wants to do. I mean, he holds the keys to the entire conversation. Can't even start it unless he's on board.
I wanted them to go to Boston, but that's another story.
Well, we are here talking Siena men's basketball.
No, we're
really
doing 2 segments. It's a huge game tomorrow night in Manhattan. We played, speaking of the NBA, but I've said this before, I just get surprised when Justin Robinson put on an NBA play. Hey, we played good, but they played great.
But Marquise had 36.
He did. Marquise was great. Javion did his solid thing. Nico came off the bench. He hit some big shots. We were down one at halftime. We were down 2. We were up 2 with 15 minutes to go, and they went on a 20. They didn't miss. I mean, they shot 80%. And we've been doing this thing in video, and Zach, you know how this works. It's coaching and everything. Good defense where they still scored, trying to put a positive angle on it. I mean, we played Marist, and they shot the ball. We had 5 times we were, all over the guy, and they made threes. Step back. We double-teamed Hart, who's another NBA-type guard, more overseas. Justin Robinson. Now, we lost him 1 or 2 times, I'll admit. That's on me. But we were all over the guy, and he just was making threes. They had other guys making threes. They just kept scoring.
I saw a shot he made late in the game. I'm telling you right now.
40 feet.
You really? I mean, do you even guard him out that far?
I mean, we tried
seriously.
to, and then he'll drive by you.
It was unbelievable, the shot he made.
He'll drive by, so we backed up. Then we put our hand up. But, I mean, and I think he's a little guy like him going to get a look because the NBA likes cool little guys, But he's explosive, and I know he's excited to come home and play. And a nice kid. By the way, a nice kid, humble, hungry, just the type of kid you want to, he's really cool, fun to talk to. But they were on fire, and we got to do better. But
you scored 82 points.
Yeah, I know, but I've said before, it's funny, when people golf with me, they really play well because I bring the best out in people. Unfortunately, I'm bringing the best out in our opponents because they're shooting lights out against us. But we just have to play a little better defense. But I thought we're showing signs. It's not the max going to be Canisius beat Iona last night, but I would come out Manhattan. They're playing better, and then we got Niagara on Saturday. There's 2 games. It's very rare we play 2 games, let alone 3 in a week. But we play Thursday, Saturday, and we need our fans, and our fans have been great. And the score, I've always felt this, Roger, whether you lose by 1 or 20 doesn't, getting blown out's not that's over there. That's not okay. But, that was a good game. They had an extra day's rest again, but that's okay. And then we just ran out of gas. The last 10, they just dominated us, and our bench wasn't, we just couldn't stop them. And that's on me. We got to work on better zone defense or however we got to do it. But they played great. You got to give Monmouth credit. This guy, Justin Robinson, the thing about him is A.J. English, for instance, or I really liked Hooley. I thought he could get looks and all these kind of stuff. This guy played well this summer in the NBA camp, Robinson. In other words, he's already got a check plus next to his game, He went to the NBA stuff with, Shark's old crew who went from Villanova, because he was at Villanova for the last 2 years, Josh Hart. They bring him in, and Robinson got, really, he came in as, a maybe 30 guy, and they're like, wow, he's really moved up. Not to get drafted, because remember, the draft's half foreigners and half underclassmen.
Right.
But rising seniors, this kid, he played well. The good news is we get to play him again next Friday on ESPN2. But Manhattan, Masiello, they'll be running and jumping in 2-3 zone. And Niagara's a surprise of the league. He might get coach of the year. And the league's up for grabs after Monmouth, I think.
See, I agree with you. I didn't think it was I thought you guys played pretty well. It wasn't like seeing them play well against Monmouth. Monmouth played it out of their minds.
Oh, for the kids that came to the game.
They played great.
We had some recruits come, and then I had some friends from out of town drive over from Massachusetts or Westchester, because we play them on a Monday again. We were picked high, so I'd like to play that game on the weekend, but sometimes the schedule with 11 teams, it gets quirky. I really believe Monmouth deserves an at-large bid no matter what they do, along with Vermont. I think them and Vermont are 2 teams that if they can run the table and go all the way to the finals of their league and don't win, would be very exciting teams they're put together winning streaks. They're really well coached. They have good teams. They should get in, both of those two teams in my mind.
But what were you saying yesterday? You looked up their non-conference schedule, talking about Monmouth now.
Yeah.
Because we played your interview in the postgame where you said.
See, they've gotten bad luck, and I know where we're going to go with this.
But they beat a lot of good teams last year.
Last year they did, but Georgetown, UCLA, and Rutgers had terrible years the last year, but they did beat Notre Dame and USC. Now this year they played Memphis, and this is a down year for Memphis, who they beat. Do you know they lost to South Carolina on a fluke?
That heave.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Like a 1-point heave, and then everybody else they've seemed to beat, and they beat Princeton, who's really good.
Princeton's another good team, and they're all signature wins. But I looked at it last year. I felt Monmouth should have got in last year. I thought it was a kind of a crime that if you're not going to put in a mid-major with that resume last year, then you're just not going to do it.
Well, that's what I'm getting nervous about.
Yeah,
you're correct.
I looked at the thing this year. I said, wow. Well, I mean, same win total equated damn near to the win at this time last year. But I look at the Power 5 wins. I said, damn, if you're not going to put them in last year, you're not going to put them in this year.
You guys are part of the media. Wouldn't you want to see them in the turn? Isn't it sort of more fun on that Thursday, Friday when you're at a bar at noon watching, and you want to see Monmouth play UCLA? Like, is it really cool to watch like Ole Miss or someone who? And I like Ole Miss. Don't get me wrong, Andy Kennedy. Oregon State last year. Someone who sneaks in as a BCS. You know all they care about spring football and all that stuff. Okay, it's like, but here's Monmouth, and they don't put him in. But I want to give Vermont and John Becker a lot of credit. Who we play, they're playing tremendous basketball, and you know that. You see them. Like, they're really good.
Yeah, going there Wednesday next week.
They're not just some little guys running around from Burlington shooting the ball, wearing Birkenstocks. They got 6'8" players, and they're tough, and they're good.
Here's a question for you. This is a good question because we were going to get into this yesterday on our show. Who is better, Monmouth or Vermont?
And before you answer, they're both ranked inside the top 10 of the mid-major 25. Monmouth is 4th. Vermont's 7th. Monmouth
David versus Goliath is my first thought.
Monmouth is
bigger versus quicker.
Yeah.
Being honest.
Monmouth has won 12 in a row. Vermont's won 15 in a row. We kind of looked at Vermont to the America East as we looked at Monmouth to the MAC.
Sure, absolutely, that's fair. Shark, who do you like?
Who do you like? Shark is the director of basketball ops, by the way, for Coach Patsos, and we love when he comes to the studio.
I would say Monmouth, but Ken Palm says it's Vermont.
He's a big Ken Palm guy.
Yeah,
Ken Palm's a rating system for those who don't know. He ranks. It's all analytics and bunch of number crunchings. Rank every Division I program.
I go Monmouth too, by the way. But go ahead.
Yeah, Vermont has them. Ken Palm has Vermont at 65 and Monmouth at 88. So, but
that's where the game is. If it was at Times Union Center, I'm taking Monmouth. That guy's scored 50.
Yeah, it's one of these things. Like, I mean, they're both terrific teams, and they're different. I mean, to your point, Monmouth is that sort of, speedy group. Vermont is bigger, girthy. Yeah. They can knock down. They got
a little
length
bit
on
more
the
of a half-court game, physical rebounding.
Yeah. If the three, it's like the Warriors versus the Spurs. When the threes go in, there's a different team. In other words, if Justin Robinson's going to make threes, and James was driving the ball early, the guy averages 2 points a game, and he had 8 in the first 2 minutes against us at Monmouth.
That's right.
But if you're going to beat Monmouth, obviously you're able to
defend the 3-point line.
Right, because you're able to score. You scored 82 against them, so the point's fine. So it comes down to you playing better defense, winning the rebound. Right,
we didn't do that.
The rebounding wasn't.
We did, Zach? Iona long rebounds because they shoot a lot of. We played 3-point shooting teams in a row. Iona, we played good 3-point defense. Marist, we didn't early. We did it. They hit a couple late. But both Iona and Marist, we got the long rebounds, Roger. We didn't get the long rebounds against Monmouth. They ran the clock down 27 seconds and kicked it out and hit a 3. It was just we were ran out of emotion a little. It was a little bit of a heartbreak. You got to get those rebounds because it's like the Warriors. You don't get the rebound, then they make a 3 on you. Now, if they don't shoot threes, I think Vermont has a better inside game. But Monmouth they do throw a lot of big guys at you defensively. But Robinson, Hornbeak and Seaborn are really, really good. Colin Stewart's he's having a nice little career for him as their 8th man. But Vermont has a lot of big guys, and they played well. So I think they both deserve to get at-large bids, though. I really do.
There's a very select.
If they go to their finals.
There's a very select few of interview guests that come to the studio that we must keep for a second segment, and you are at the very, very top of the list.
Thank you for that.
More with Coach Patsos next on Big Board Sports on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. We're with Jimmy Patsos. We talk Siena basketball every Wednesday morning here on Big Board Sports, and Manhattan is next up
out
tomorrow night. You've been getting great crowds, Coach.
The fans are great. I love Siena. It's a great fan base.
5,700 on Monday night.
For a Monday night.
And
then we've had 6,500 for some other games, and we have Thursday and Saturday at home. Come on out. Niagara and Manhattan are both like, Manhattan, that guy won the title 2 of my 3 years here. They're just going through the rebuild.
Right.
Williams is hurt. They got a kid redshirting sitting out. They got Turner, who's a transfer from Bowling Green, who's good, and Waterman, who can score. Number 3 and number 4, really good players. But Masiello's going through a rebuilding thing, but they're going to play their hearts out, and they play hard, and they're going to run and jump out of the 2-3 zone. And
what did you think of his rant after the Siena game last time?
Yeah, I don't know. I was glad it wasn't me. That was my first thought.
I thought it was interesting. I know some people had issues with it because credibility on his behalf to talk about fraudulent. I just thought it was a very interesting, like the content of his.
Look, I like Steve. Steve's an Under Armour guy, and he's a great. Like I said, he's won 2 of the 3 titles. I've been here. I played him when I was at Loyola in the semifinals one time, and he can really coach. He's a Rick Pitino disciple. He works really hard. They're going to rebuild that thing. He's just, when they told Williams not to play, and we did that with Brett a couple of years ago. But he was, look, I think part of his thing, and I don't speak for Steve, but they had played Monmouth well but lost, and like the kids were okay with that. And then they kind of thought they were just going to beat us, and then we rolled in there. We had an extra day's rest. We were sitting there waiting for them. They were down on Jersey Shore. That's an emotional up and down game when you play Monmouth. I'm glad we had a day in between. I just think he was just talking about social media and how kids' standards are. It's okay to play hard but not win, and I get that. See, all wins are good. Play hard, do your best, perform your best. If you lose, we can live with it. But then there's that bad loss when you don't play and compete or you pout or whatever. But I think he was just kind of like upset with some stuff on social media, and I'm not there as much. Shark, what was your take? Because you kind of social media it more than me.
No, he was just talking. I mean, his one social media thing was about how people get to fix their Instagrams and stuff like that.
They get to like choreograph their life.
Yeah. I mean, everything kind of is like
choreograph. You're a life shark.
I mean, not every aspect of it, but I think you have to a little bit. We choreograph a lot of things. Everybody kind of does now. You have to in order to keep up with the Joneses.
The youth of America. He's 25. He knows.
I'm back on your team. I said before the Monmouth game, and Monmouth is really good. They're really good. But I said you won 8 of 11, right? Something like that. Going to the Monmouth game, 8 of 11. I thought you were playing your best basketball of the season. Do you agree with that?
No, we're getting close. I mean, the Marist, like I said, when you got to watch tape.
You beat Iona on a road, great win. Did what you needed to do at Marist.
And once again, I evaluate like they played their best game of the year. They were making. In other words, I go watch the tape. Yeah, but and we played great for 30 minutes. 30 minutes we played good enough to beat the best team, but we came up short. We need that one extra body, and everybody's got to kind of be on the same page playing defensively. We're playing well, but we have to go to fifth gear. We've gotten from second gear to third gear to fourth gear, but I want to get it to fifth gear. We want to contend for the title. We had a chance if we wanted to come in second or third. That's a little bit distance away because St. Peter's, won last night. I don't look at that stuff. I'm a feel guy like John Wooden. I watch the game. I learn from him. I read his books. Talked to Jim Herrick the other day for a long time. I'm rereading the book about any coach out there should read the Dean Smith, Mike Krzyzewski, Valvano book by John Feinstein. It's just a mojo of how you're playing. And we're going to go in today and have a positive practice. I learned from the Patriots. Bob Kraft. Don't dwell on the past. Stay positive. Sure. The future's bright. I've been using that for 2017. We stole that from him. On the other hand, we've got to do a little better. When a guy's on fire, you got to stop him. But you can't let him catch the ball. You can't let him catch the ball.
How did you try and defend Robinson?
Well, we tried to double team the screen, and a couple times, he had the ball screen. I wanted to double team him and give him up. Well, all of a sudden, he's going around certain individuals and laying it in, and we're fouling him soft for an and one. We're down 6, now you're down 9. And then it slips away. They're too good. They spread you out. But we didn't get loose balls. Like, we're going to watch tape and talk about the 13 offensive rebounds they got, who's, fouling a three-point shooter. I don't like that. I've said to fly sideways. And 3 times. But Robinson hit a 3 to start the game where 2 guys were there, and we both thought the other one should take him. Well, we both know that answer, Zach. I want you both to take him. I went over that. We only had one day to get ready, but we had a very good practice on Sunday, really positive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm a guy that double teams Steph Curry. It's not that hard to figure me out. When in doubt, don't let Robinson score. Well, I have two guys looking at each other going, oh, I thought you had him. Well, I thought you had him. Well, I really wish the senior would have taken him, but that's okay. And then we missed him on the inbounds again, and then we're up one, and we lose him again. Then I have a freshman try to guard him, and he forgets to put his hand up. He comes out, he says, I forgot. Well, if you forget who Justin Robinson is, that's why coaching's difficult. No yelling, but you're going to have a seat next to me, and we're going to chat about it. I don't care who your parents are, your high school coach, or how many points you've scored. When you do that, you're going to have to sit next to me because I've talked about number 12 the way I've talked about A.J. English, the way I've talked about Peter Hooley before when he hit the out-of-bounds shot one time, and I said, well, I'd really prefer if that guy didn't catch the ball since he made a three to send somebody to the NCAA. I can't make it that much simpler, and it's on me as a coach. They played great, but Justin Robinson had 40. I'm not so cool with that, but onward we go. It's number 3 Turner, and it's number 4 Waterman from Manhattan. After that, we'll see what they do. With Robinson having 40, I'm not going to... Khalid Hart made 2 threes down the stretch against Marist to keep them in the game. One of them was an NBA 3, and the other one we were supposed to double team. They got a ball screen. I want to double team it, swarm them, and make somebody else beat you. Well, I get a look like, oh, yeah, I didn't think he was going to shoot it. Well, I did think, Khalid. They pay me the money. You don't think, you play. Like Dean Smith. If you watch the Dean Smith special, I think it's on Showtime. It's great. Mike O'Corin said, Coach, this is what I think. He made him put the weight vest on for 2 days and run the stairs. You can't do that anymore. You'll get sued.
True.
And Mike O'Corin went into coaching and said, I have learned a value. He talks to every pro when they come to play for him. Mike O'Corin is an assistant coach. I learned this from Dean Smith. We'll coach. We'll prepare. It's your job to perform in the games. But in other words, I just wanted Khalid Hart to give the ball up, and I see him firing, and then everybody goes, it's a tough shot. Well, he's a great player.
Yeah.
Right, he can hit those.
And Justin Robinson can hit those. And certain guys can hit those shots. And Kansas beat West Virginia. My friend's the assistant at West Virginia. They had a brutal loss. I get home and I get to watch that. My friend lose.
Where do you stand on the rebounding? I saw your game at Quinnipiac. You destroyed them on the boards.
We're big. We have some big people that can rebound.
Are you happy with where you're at with the rebounding?
Yes, but when we don't, we have to because we don't shoot the ball well. So offensive rebounding, we did not get to the offensive. It's funny. We didn't quite get to the offense. Offensive glass is like an energy attitude thing, and I'm not making excuses. It's just emotional win at Iona. Emotional win, best crowd of the year at Marist. They want to kill Siena. They're tired of us and everything. We come back. We get ready for Monmouth. Emotional first half, and maybe we just ran out of gas a little. And I'm just glad we get to play them again. You know, this series isn't over. They won the first. Well, you know, there's a reason they made Rocky 2 and then Rocky 3 and all that. So we'll get our chance to go down there on ESPN 2. But as a coach, I did not get my message through enough to not let Justin Robinson go off clearly. So that's on me.
Do you see enough in that matchup where you could say, you know, in your own mind's eye, in 3 weeks, we'd love to play these guys in a winner-take-all game?
Yes, I would, but I got to put a bigger guy on him. And the guy I put on Robinson has to decide that that's really important for 40 minutes to play him, not once in a while. You know, and you can blame who you want or talk to who you want, but when you say it's your chance to guard Justin Robinson, you have to take that and put his picture next to your bed and say, this is a 40-minute job. And if you take some time off and don't put your hand up, he's going to make shots, especially here's the downside of playing at the Times Union Center. I was an opposing coach. You guys have been around. I circled that we couldn't wait to come to Pro Arena, great lighting, cool locker rooms, media,
to step
attention. I love the MAC tournament in Albany. Great hotels. We had our restaurants picked out. My assistants went to Lark Street. I didn't go out. In other words, this whole thing's choreographed as one of the great trips, culminating playing in the Times Union Center. Well, the players sometimes don't understand that. You know, I don't want to cast aspersions on other gyms in our league, but sometimes there's places you go, and I know Zach has a tough trip this weekend, that you don't circle and say, I can't wait to make that trip.
Definitely not.
Well, this is a trip that you can't wait to play, and there's a reason we played great at Kansas, so we go to GW and lose by 1, but we play really well against an A-10. Players are normal. Well, those players are getting ready to come into the Times Union Center, and that's a double-edged sword because I love coaching there. It's a great, but the lighting's fantastic, and the sight lines are great, and It's just a great pro locker room feel. And then there's the media, and then the game's on TV. Like, I'm like, fellas, this guy Robinson's from Kingston, you know. If I had been able to recruit him and Stewart, I wasn't the coach then. They're going to be excited to play. Understand and Bill Parcells, understand that the Eagles want to kill the Giants. Yeah. Understand that the Patriots-Jets is going to be a little different than the Patriots playing the Cleveland Browns. So, that being said, I'm looking forward to playing Manhattan. I hope everybody comes out this weekend. Niagara's really good. They got us up there, and it's a chance to get back. But playing games, we're staying positive, and we're moving on.
Coach, good luck on Thursday. I really want the Shark to come in.
We're going to come in for like baseball season.
But he should show up, Zach, and just hop on the mic with us for a morning.
Just show, man.
You know, I think you should do that. Like, you don't need to come with Coach Patsos.
He's got
just
the youth
show
of
up.
America. He's all worried about Syndergaard gaining 17 pounds.
Because we are about ready to start spring training. We got to get into the baseball.
Then remember, the guy was on the bench for Villanova, their first year upset, and then the drive to get to the national championship. So we'll do some March Madness.
Some March Madness when the brackets come out.
Congratulations to Ruma, the German Shepherd.
There you go. Thank you, Coach Patsos. Shark, good seeing you as always, Director of